Coming up next on Lakeland News at 10, a tentative contract agreement has been reached between the Minnesota State Colleges and University System and the state university faculty members. Also, we'll take a look at Pine River as they may be expanding soon, and later on a look back at the Moondance Jam. Lakeland News at 10 is next.
The Northwest Minnesota Foundation is a charitable foundation committed to improving the quality of life for residents of Northwest Minnesota.
Your local public television station presents Lakeland News at 10. News for Bemidji, Brainerd, and all of the Lakes region. Dennis Wyman with the news, Stacy Christensen with the weather, and now Lakeland News at 10.
Good evening, everyone. There is a tentative contract agreement tonight between the Minnesota State Colleges and University System and state university faculty members. News of the potential agreement comes after more than a year of intermittent talks, but the deal is still subject to a vote by the members and details have not been released. The city of Pine River will be expanding in the near future, and the city may not only be gaining in size, but possibly in businesses as well.
The whole idea for a bigger Pine River began when the Pine River State Bank bought 22 acres from the Sawyer Timber Company. The bank decided to use only 3 acres themselves and sell the rest of the land to a group of investors.
The bank was the initiation for it, but it was basically unintentional. After we had bought it, the thought just occurred to us, hey, we can do something good with Pine River. And all these other people agreed. Or where inside city limits between Brainerd and Bemidji do you have 25 or so acres left that have got city water, city sewer, and a cooperative city council and a cooperative business establishment, meaning the people on Main Street in town that all have an interest in seeing good development in Pine River.
The land is a perfect fit for the city. It runs a third of a mile along the Paul Bunyan Trail and has access to Highway 371.
Well, it's a real exciting thing to happen in Pine River. It's an adventure. We really look forward to seeing the city expand the business base. It isn't often that a city the size of Pine River gets a chance to expand like this with full access to Highway 371 and the Paul Bunyan Trail. We've looked at ways of expanding our business base, but basically we're handicapped with space limitations. And this will enable the whole town to expand.
What exactly is going to be done with the land has yet to be determined, but the possibilities are numerous.
One of the things is a possible community center that might be established. We're looking at maybe some increased housing in this area over here, apartments and so forth. So we're really looking at expanding the whole base, business and residential.
We're going to go out and solicit planning and engineering firms that have got this type of expertise to present proposals to us. We'll narrow them down and we'll select one of them to come up with a development plan for the whole project that ties things together, that ties things into the existing Main Street, that does things for the town that we could never think of.
Construction on the new bank is expected to begin within the next 12 months, with the development of the rest of the land possibly starting by next summer. The city will also have a new information center in the future. Land for that project was acquired from the DNR. 2 Minnesota DFL gubernatorial candidates have announced their running mates. Senator Ted Mondale has chosen fellow Senator Deanna Weiner to be his lieutenant governor candidate. Both are socially moderate and fiscally conservative. Meanwhile, Senator Doug Johnson has reportedly selected former Ramsey County Attorney Tom Foley to be his running mate. Foley lost the DFL U.S. Senate primary in 1994 to Ann Winia. There are currently 5 candidates seeking the DFL gubernatorial endorsement. Meanwhile, Minnesota is showing early success at getting welfare recipients into jobs. State officials reported today that nearly a quarter of those enrolled during the first 2 months of the state's welfare reform program had found work. The program offers help with child care and health benefits to parents seeking employment. The state also supplements wages until families earn 20% above the poverty level, and parents who don't find work or stop looking have their assistance cut by up to 30%. The early figures are from a pilot program that went statewide this month. Well, one of the most wanted men in the country has been spotted in North Carolina. Federal agents are hot on the trail of Eric Robert Rudolph, wanted in the bombing of an Alabama women's clinic. Tori Tolley has the story.
we are confident that we are dealing with Eric Robert Rudolph.
Federal agents got their first big break in the search for Rudolph after he was spotted near the town of Andrews in western North Carolina. They say he broke into a home on Nantahala Lake, stole a large amount of food and a pickup truck.
We recovered yesterday a 1977 Nissan pickup truck, which was taken from a resident near the Nantahala Lake area here in North Carolina on the evening of July the 9th, 1998. That truck is believed to have been stolen by Eric Robert Rudolph, our fugitive who's on the top 10 list.
At a news conference Tuesday in Andrews, federal agents showed a new sketch of Rudolph based on the witness's description.
He is described as having longer hair pulled into a ponytail. He also has a beard. He was last seen wearing camouflage fatigues, camouflage jacket. He also was wearing gloves.
Rudolph, a 31-year-old carpenter, is from the small town of Murphy, about 15 miles southwest of Andrews. He is charged in the January 29th bombing of the New Woman All-Woman Clinic in Birmingham, Alabama. The explosion killed an off-duty police officer who was moonlighting as a security guard. It also badly injured Emily Lyons, a nurse at the clinic.
Our life has been divided up into so many facets now that he is part of it. So if we can get him caught and get that part of it taken care of, that's one less thing that we have to deal with.
Rudolph is also wanted for questioning in connection with 3 Atlanta area bombings, including the 1996 explosion at Centennial Olympic Park. The FBI has a $1 million bounty on his head.
Officials are now doubling the manpower in the search for Rudolph, and up to 80 agents are now thought to be on the case. Well, still to come on Lakeland News at 10, a look back at this year's Moondance Jam near Walker, and later on, our first installment of our weekly feature, Northlands Adventure.
It happens every day. It doesn't stop when you reach a certain age. We're all of us learning, even now. You see something in a person's face and see all they struggle to learn. It could be we are here solely to remind each other what must not be missed or ignored, but celebrated. When do we stop learning? Maybe never.
In Chinese medicine, that the body has to move.
I watch a lot of news, but I really look for in-depth coverage. I look for balanced coverage.
I like to watch PBS.
PBS offers a banquet of programs. I like to keep informed. A lot of times I don't have time to read newspapers, and I've watched a lot of the different channels, but when it comes to my choice, I know I will never get the in-depth coverage from any other channel except PBS.
And now, more news with Dennis Wyman.
Another successful Moondance Jam is in the books, and the Outdoor Classic Rock Festival just keeps getting bigger and better.
A day like this, we need all the fluid that we can get.
Lonnie Ballard and his Dallas Public Housing work crew know the key to safety in this heat storm.
Well, that was not the Moondance Jam. That was actually a story from the heat in Texas, which we'll get to in a moment. But I can tell you, Foreigner was among the groups on hand this year. It's in its 7th year of the festival, and it's continuing to attract big-name rockers into the North Woods. Now over 50,000 people have attended Moondance Jam, and there you get a little bit of look at Foreigner in action, as it was a real successful Moondance Jam. No rain for the first time, and the big-name bands still continue to show.
We're gaining a reputation because the word gets around among the groups that play the jam, and now it's kind of nice because we have people asking, in some cases, to come back, or they've heard of the event and it's a no-brainer. Yeah, we'll do the jam. So, and that's kind of cool when you offer that to a national artist and they say, yeah, they'll play the jam. And I think we'll get to that point where when it is becoming a successful event, when it becomes a real money-making proposition, then I think we'll get to that point where it'll be a lot easier, and then you can start negotiating fees a little bit better too, because people want to play because it's the jam.
Someone somewhere did not want us to run that story. 2 nights in a row, we had a little problem with that one. Well, over 50,000 people did attend the Moondance Jam, and it is now considered the biggest outdoor rock festival in Minnesota. Well, it's been really hot in Minnesota recently, but it's nothing compared to the heat wave that's hit Texas. It's been over 100 degrees for more than a week in the Lone Star State, and that's taken its toll. Already 15 people are dead and no relief is in sight. Sean Robb has the story from Dallas.
On a hot day like this, we need all the fluid that we can get.
Lonnie Ballard and his Dallas Public Housing work crew know the key to safety in this heat storm. So too does landscaper Nathaniel Washington.
Oh, drinking plenty of fluids. Drinking plenty of fluids.
As the day wears on, the mercury warms up. Texans are used to heat, but not the extremes, many falling victim to heat-related illnesses. The medical examiner is currently reviewing 20 new cases to determine how many more may have fatally fallen to the hot weather. Already, 15 have died.
So far, it's going good, but we need more fans.
And the call goes out for fans to be donated for the elderly.
We've given out over 100 fans, but we have at least 200 people demanding more fans. And so we need more fans.
And you want folks to drop fans off where? Right here?
They can drop them off here at 2121 Main Street, or they can call area code 214-939-0588. And we have 5 other centers that's located geographically throughout the Metroplex.
But not everyone's complaining about the heat. For some people, the heat is sweet.
Yeah, our sales they skyrocket almost 100%. It just doubles in sales. And, you know, it just keeps us hopping to where, you know, our days double in hours. But that's what the ice cream business is all about.
Well, it has certainly been real hot in Minnesota recently, but today the story, the severe weather in the area.
That's right. We still have portions of central Minnesota under a severe thunderstorm watch until 2 a.m. Also flash flood watches because of the storms. Really some heavy downpours and some damages has been reported around the area. I'll have your local forecast up next.
Hello, I'm Louis Rukeyser, inviting you to join my friend and colleague Mary Farrell, who will be sitting in for me this week as host of Wall Street Week and talking with a top strategist from Mid-America. He's Alan Skaranka of Edward Jones, the brokerage firm whose model portfolio beat all its competitors last year. Let's see if he can repeat for us.
Tune in Friday night at 8:30. Next time on Austin City Limits, Boz Skaggs.
Hey boy, you better bring the woman round to the sad old truth, the low down.
I want to be in Paris.
And 8.5 souvenirs.
Well, I want to be in Paris. Meet romance and meet the boys.
Watch Austin City Limits Saturday night at 9.
And now, the weather with Stacy Christensen.
Well, we saw some severe weather rumble on through the area today. Places reporting damage due to hail, also some very heavy downpours. Fortunately, things are looking up for tomorrow. Let's take a look at some current conditions. In Bemidji, it's fair and 68 degrees. The humidity is at 84%, the barometric pressure at 29.80 inches and steady, and winds are from the south at 6 miles per hour. In Brainerd, they're experiencing some light rain. It's at 67 degrees in Brainerd. The humidity is at 93%, the barometric pressure at 29.91 inches and falling, and winds are from the southeast at 13 miles per hour. Looking at some of of our regional temperatures, you can see it's a lot cooler here than it was yesterday. Many places reporting 60-degree temperatures. It's a little warmer to the north in the 70s, 77 in Roseau, also 77 in Fargo, and 83 in Minneapolis, where they have yet to experience some of our severe weather. There is also a flash flood watch out for central Minnesota. This includes Todd and Morrison counties in our viewing area. These areas are also under a severe thunderstorm watch until 2 a.m. as well. Well, we weren't the only people to experience some severe weather down here in the southeast. They did experience some thunderstorms and some flooding. Actually, 4 fatalities in Tennessee due to flooding. This is not good news here. It is good news in Florida, where they have been waiting for these showers to come into the area to help with the wildfires. Now, these showers did help with that. They are possibly going to be moving out into the ocean, where they may cause some more problems on up the coast in the Carolinas. Over to the west, you can see they didn't experience any weather, and you can see it reflected in their temperatures. 110 degrees was reported in Phoenix, Arizona today. Very warm down to the southeast. The 90-degree temperatures again reaching up. You can see that the showers have cooled it off a bit in northern Minnesota. Looking at some of the lows from last night, it was 57 in Roseau, 63 in Bemidji, 68 in Brainerd, 75 in Alexandria, 73 in Minneapolis. And the highs from today, there they are. Roseau saw 82, International Falls was at 78, Bemidji saw 75, Brainerd actually made it up into the 90-degree temperatures, warm again to the south, 92 in Minneapolis. Looking at our radar, you can see that the showers and thunderstorms they're lessening just a bit, but they're still there. Right at the beginning, you can see the red areas. Those were very severe storms in Cass County, also in Otter Tail County. And this is all due to the moisture that was in the air over Minnesota. And as a cool front moved in from the west, also from Canada, it has triggered all these showers and thunderstorms, and they did cause some damage. There was a tornado reported near Elizabeth, Minnesota, also about 40 miles west of Duluth. Around our area, Squaw Lake saw 3/4-inch hail. Reamer had some large trees down due to the wind. A couple of waterspouts were spotted over Leech Lake in Walker, Hackensack, and Bacchus, both reported 1.5-inch hail. Dan Ross Jones in Grand Rapids called in today also. He's a Skywarn spotter in Grand Rapids, and at 7:45 was reporting 40-mile-per-hour winds, and some tree limbs were down. Like I said, it will get better. You can see here we do have some showers for tomorrow morning. They should dissipate as the day progresses, and we should probably see some nice weather in the afternoon. For tonight, there is a chance of some showers and thunderstorms. Some of these could be severe, especially in the southern part of our viewing area near Little Falls and also in Todd County. The wind should be from the west, 5 to 15 miles per hour, and the low should be in the mid to upper 50s. For tomorrow, the skies should clear after that morning shower, and we should see partly cloudy skies. The highs should reach into the 80s again. It's going to be a little cooler. We won't see the 90-degree temperatures. Winds should be from the northwest, 10 to 20 miles per hour, and luckily it'll be less humid. For tomorrow night, it should clear up. We should see clear skies, a high. It's a bit cooler, only about 49, probably into the 50s in some areas. And on Thursday, partly cloudy, the high should be in the upper 70s. Looking at our extended forecast, it will continue to be warm for both Friday and Saturday, but luckily it will stay dry. The highs should be in the 80s and the lows should be right around 60. And on Sunday, there's again a chance of some showers and thunderstorms developing. The high will get near to 90, and the lows will be right around 60. So we can make it through tonight. I think we'll be okay.
Still a slight threat of some severe weather in the southern end of the viewing area?
That's right. They are under a severe thunderstorm watch. Morrison and Todd counties are included in that until 2 a.m. Flash flooding is also possible because with the humidity in the air, there's a chance for some very heavy downpours.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Stacy. Coming up next in sports, Mark Brewer is here. He'll check in with all of tonight's Twins action.
There is a place where the sea hides a treasure of dazzling abundance, wildness, and wonder. Experience Palau, Paradise of the Pacific, as Reader's Digest World presents The Living Edens.
Be sure to watch The Living Edens Wednesday night at 8.
Next on Mystery, two novice private eyes take on the London crime scene in Chandler and Company.
Down those mean streets a woman must go.
Can you just open a flower shop instead?
If you want someone more experienced.
We'd understand totally.
What I want is someone I can trust.
Well, we will boldly go where no women have been before.
Go ahead, punk. Make my day.
See it on channels 9 and 22, Thursday night at 8.
It seems simple. You buy a ticket, pack your bags, and you're off. But behind the scenes?
Mr. Clinton was here for about 3 minutes, and we've been working on this for 6 months.
It's important to me never to let a passenger think there's no hope.
It's non-stop action with Airport.
Take a look inside this airport, Thursday night at 9.
Well, Mark Brewer is here, and we're going to talk some sports. The Brainerd Legion team, we saw some highlights of them last night,
Exactly
and
right.
they got things back on track.
They sure have, and that's where we're going to start off tonight. As we said, the Brainerd Legion team brought out their whipping sticks last night against Park Rapids, taking both games of a doubleheader, winning the first 13-3 and the nightcap 9-1. That takes Brainerd to an overall record of 19-8. We recently visited with the team to see how they felt about their season thus far. Well, they're midway through the Legion season, and so far Brainerd has won twice as many games as they've lost. We asked head coach Brett Strife what the major contributor is to their success.
Pitching. I think our pitching has pretty much carried us. Like I said earlier, we hadn't been hitting the ball very well. Our defense was kind of so-so, but our pitching has been really our strong point so far this year. We've got a couple of guys that really go get after it, and they throw 3 pitches well and keep hitters off balance and do a good job.
Brainerd has a history of quality teams coming from each level of play. Derek Owen believes this only helps the Legion squad.
Brainerd has a lot of great baseball teams in high school and stuff, and that I think that starts in the younger groups and like grooming the kids to be ready for the varsity level, and all the coaches and everything at every level is great. I mean, they teach you a lot about the game and how to get your skills better so when you do make the varsity level.
But when it comes down to it, sure, you need to be able to pitch, you need to be able to catch, but you've got to get the run support, something that the Brainerd Legion is familiar with.
Our hitting has always been our strength, so we always want to try and maintain that, you know. Like I said, we've probably been hitting better than most teams, but traditionally Brainerd has always had good hitters, and as far as the way Brainerd has been in the past, we hadn't been hitting well. So we want to kind of pick it up in that department a little bit, because when we get right down to in the playoffs, we have 2 tough pitchers going at each other. It's going to come down to one swing of the bat most of the time, so we want our kids to be ready.
Last night, Albert Bell's 2 home runs finished off the Twins in Chicago. Tonight, Bob Tewksbury takes the mound, trying to keep the ball in the yard. We pick it up here in the bottom of the second. Ventura on third. Will Cadero singles. Ventura trots in, not the greatest of defensive attempts you see there by the Twins. Twins tie it up in the top of the third as a single by Pat Mears scores Alex Ochoa, even up at 1 apiece. Until the bottom of the third, ask not for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for the Minnesota Twins. Albert Bell has his 3rd home run in 2 days against the Minnesota Twins. 2-run shot here. Sox up 3-1. Sox had another to go up 4-1. Pat Mears gets a solo home run 4-2. 1 inning later, Matt Lawton comes up, adds his 12th home run of the year. That puts the Twins down 4-3. They go into the bottom of the 9th, tied at 5 apiece. Aguilera comes up, gives up the 3-run home run to Frank Thomas, and the Twins lose tonight 8-5 in Chicago. They're done in Chicago. Now they get to look forward to Seattle and Ken Griffey Jr. The rest of the AL scores: New York comes up top over Cleveland with Jim Thome going to the hospital after getting plunked in the right forearm by Andy Pettit. Detroit beats Kansas City. Tampa Bay won and better than Boston. Baltimore big over Toronto. 4 different Orioles with home runs, 3 of them in the 7th inning. Oakland over Anaheim. Seattle over Texas. Now that's 2-0 as Griffey just plunked his 38th home run. The National League, Montreal won better than Florida. Chicago over Pittsburgh, Rod Beck with his 25th save. Atlanta 4-2 over New York, Chipper Jones with his 25th home run. Philadelphia over Milwaukee. Cincinnati over St. Louis. San Diego big over Colorado, and a couple early games. Arizona over Houston. Tied up San Francisco and LA. Well, it's only a few weeks away from the Major League's trading deadline. and there are some mighty big names that in all appearances will be packing their traveling shoes. Some of those include Bob Tewksbury, who was pitching tonight for the Twins. Twins listening to any and all offers for their starting pitcher. Seattle's Randy Johnson, the Mariners could hold on to him, let him stay miserable, or they could trade him to Cleveland. They were willing to give up Nagy, and outfielder Brian Giles, also the rumor tonight. Randy Johnson could become a Chicago Cub. There you see Baltimore. Alomar could be going to Cleveland, reunited with his brother Sandy. Colorado could lose Burks and Bichette. Toronto is trying to land one of these guys because Jose Cruz Jr. was sent to the minors with, of all things, confidence problems. In Chicago, Robin Ventura, Frank Thomas, Ventura and the White Sox are not talking contract negotiations, so he's going somewhere. And get this, with Mo Vaughn virtually gone from the Red Sox, speculations heating up over a Vaughn for Frank Thomas trade. There you see the Cincinnati pitchers. Anaheim has an interest in both of these pitchers, as their own Jack McDowell and Ken Hill are sitting on the bench, injury-laden. In NFL news, running back Dorsey Levens and the Packers are still at a standstill. Levens, who earned a measly $785,000 last year, is looking for a 4-year deal to average $5.3 million. Said Levens' agent, their last offer to us was $4.1 million, and that's not even in the ballpark. Meanwhile, the Miami Dolphins, who had the league's second worst running game last season, have reportedly offered a contract to free agent running back Raymond Harris. The Fort Lauderdale Sun-Sentinel is reporting the offer took place after Harris worked out for the team last week. Harris had a career-high 1,033 yards, 10 touchdowns in 13 games for the Bears last season. And the Pittsburgh Steelers spent some money and cut some money today. First, Bill Cowher, only the second coach in NFL history to lead his team to the playoffs in each of his first 6 seasons, signed a 3-year extension with the Steelers worth $2 million a year. The coaches are bringing it in now. The 40-year-old Cowher has an overall coaching record of 64 wins against only 32 losses. And to save a few dollars, the Steelers handed 5-time Pro Bowl linebacker Greg Lloyd his walking papers. Lloyd spent his entire 9-year career with the Steelers, but struggled to regain top form after a surgery for a torn left patella. That's the knee, folks. Last season, Lloyd registered only 3.5 sacks in 12 games. And the money's flying, Dennis. Former Jacksonville quarterback, now Buffalo Bill quarterback, Rob Johnson signed $25 million 5-year contract with an $8.5 million signing bonus. We're in the wrong line of work.
He's way overrated, in my opinion, too.
Well, he's making the money, so he can be whatever he wants.
How many running backs does Jimmy Johnson need?
One a week.
I mean, he's got John Avery, the rookie. He's got Lawrence Phillips.
He's got trouble.
He's got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and now they got Raymond. They may be
never
a tough
can be
team.
too deep in backs.
Yeah, time to talk football pretty soon. Thanks a lot, Mark. Finally tonight, time for what will be a weekly Tuesday night feature called Northwoods Adventure. And if you like to watch loons, this story is for you.
What a great excuse to get out on a lake. Every year, the DNR conducts loon watcher surveys, and what they need are volunteers.
But it's very simple. You just say, I want to volunteer, and usually we can get them in. Now, for this year already, we're already into the loon monitoring season for the index areas, and all those lakes are already assigned. And the assigned lakes, people are assigned to them. For the other program, pretty much anyone can get in. Well, they're looking for loons, and we send them information on exactly how to survey for loons. And let's say if they're doing the index area one where they don't live on the lake, this is a new lake for them. We give them examples depending on how big the lake is of how they should go around the shoreline. Some lakes can be surveyed from shore. They're small enough you can see the entire lake. They'll always need binoculars. Some people use spotting scopes as well. And then other people will go out in a boat. Obviously, there's things changing. I mean, there's development and different things going on, different pressures going on in our lakes. Well, we know from a survey that we did in 1989 that we have about 12,000 adult loons. I mean, this is a lot of loons. It's the most loons of any of the lower 48 states. Alaska, of course, has more, and Canada also has a lot of loons. But as far as the other lower 48, I mean, we are way ahead of any of the other states. And I think people in Minnesota really want to keep that here. It's our state bird. We want to protect them. We want to always have that feeling of the wildness out in the lakes and hearing loons at night.
Well, as I say, I like birds. I really enjoy loons. We love hearing their songs on the lake and watching their antics. And it's enjoyable to be outside. One of the lakes I have is quite small, so we're able to get access to the lake from a dock. I just go out and stand on the end of the dock and scan the lake for about a half an hour. because often it's really hard to see the loons. They'll be down feeding, or might be in amongst the weeds. So we want to stay long enough to make sure that we get to see one if in fact it's there.
For the Loon Watcher program, where people report on their own lakes, I'd like to have a loon watcher on every lake.
Well, the severe weather not quite out of the woods just yet.
Not quite out of the woods. There is a severe thunderstorm watch as well as a flash flood watch for portions of central Minnesota until 2 a.m.
Twins swept by Chicago. Seattle's next.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Mark. Thanks, Stacy. Thank you for joining us. That's Lakeland News at 10. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Good night.